It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm sure you know, unless you've been hiding somewhere. Biden out of the race.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Then that's a good question. Because Biden is hiding. Does he know?
Well, that was one of the things. Does Biden even know? Oh, my gosh.
The Babylon Bee. Biden wakes up from a nap and asked if he missed anything.
Well,
and he's got that look like he just woke up.
But that's one of the questions that's out there. There's no picture of him signing the letter.
Mm-hmm.
There's no address.
Yeah.
You know, normally you would address as a sitting president that you're pulling out. It's simply social media. And so the question's up. The conspiracy theories fly because you have planted fertile ground for conspiracy theories.
Well, he has COVID. Well, Trump put on a designer's suit and walked across the lawn to get onto Marine One when he was taken to the hospital for COVID. Remember that? I mean, you can't get one still shot of him signing the document?
Yeah.
Not even a still shot? What about AI? What about a deep fake?
Yeah, deep fake that
Come
one.
on. It's your perfect opportunity for a deep fake.
Oh, my gosh.
They get a picture from, like, 1987. I'm pretty sure that's not a recent picture. Big old chiclets and his smile.
But what was it? I forgot. I've read so many liberal magazines in the last. It's fried my brain. I can't remember which one it was, and I just read it a couple of hours ago. That was talking about the fact that no, you can't go against Kamala Harris. No, you'll destroy your political career. Well, wait a minute. What if you get the Obama endorsement?
If you get the Obama endorsement,
Obama has not endorsed the black woman.
You got to ask yourself this. Say it out loud. Ask yourself, why didn't Barack Obama endorse the woman of color immediately?
Right. Neither did Schumer, neither did Pelosi.
Nope.
And so...
And neither did Manchin. I mean... that seals the deal right there.
But that's a whole. You can't be paying attention to what Democrats say. You have to see what they do.
Yes,
because as we know, the reason, as we said it, and many others said it over the last day, Democrats did not force Biden out. The leadership and the, quote, elite of the party did not force him out because of his cognitive abilities.
Right.
They forced him out because they got caught in one of the biggest political lies in American history, and it was so obvious that they were lying after the president's performance in the debate.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Right.
They wanted Biden out. That's why Biden's furious.
Yep.
Biden is to Biden and his family. They're like, "What the hell happened?"
Right.
Well, you didn't do good at perform well here. I haven't performed well for the last 4 years.
Right.
What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
And immediately they turn on him. You're out. We want you out, like that.
Yep.
When everybody knew what was going on, everyone knows what's going on. But now, still, we don't know the official reason because the Biden has not told us the official reason that he is leaving.
Right. We don't know.
So where are we headed on this? First off, you've got to take everything the Democrats say with a grain of salt. You know, that, all right, this is it. Trump's done. Well, not necessarily. And I like this article written by lifelong Democrat Julian Epstein, New York Post. With or without Biden, Democrats headed for electoral abyss in November. Now, I think that he changed the headline of the story because he wrote it before Biden pulled out. but that was his point, why Democrats no longer have a monopoly in identity politics. And he wrote this, and this is pretty accurate. This is how I would analyze, and we did analyze, even though we were cut short in our. By the way, we were cut short in analyzing because of the entire global tech shutdown.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Bill Gates.
But this is right on. The Republican convention in Milwaukee was a masterclass.
Mm-hmm.
After a divisive primary, the GOP showed unbridled unity. Its basic message, Trump gave us more wealth and security, is compelling. And Republicans wisely shifted tone, focusing largely, these are all things that we said last week, largely on policy differences rather than ad hominem attacks. The GOP did not call the Democrats Marxists.
Oh.
It argued that the left's progressive economic and social policies have failed, which we said last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I might be able to retire.
Yeah.
I might be able to retire now. The red eye message is out to the Republican Party.
Yeah, we're done. I guess
I can leave.
Nothing else to do.
I can go. No, I can't golf every day. I can
You know
permanently go to the recliner
and scream at liberals on TV. I mean, why would you want to get paid
I
for
can
that?
do what my buddy Jeff does every day.
Exactly. Right.
I can write Facebook posts and scream
Oh, yeah.
and moan, and a week later go back and see that nobody has even liked it, or, well, they don't have the dislike anymore.
I guess they don't, yeah.
The like, the shock, the sadness. I could do that. But it's true. Meanwhile, after effectively quashing a presidential primary and any meaningful dissent about its candidate, the Democrats are saddled with an enfeebled, unpopular leader who voters don't want. Now, this was about Biden because he wrote it about a day before Biden. They've also returned to their rhetorical narcotic. But Trump is an existential threat to democracy, and that's increasingly falling on deaf ears, as we have said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know it is because we showed you the polling where Trump was up 11 points on Biden.
Yeah.
With the Democrats headed for an electoral abyss in November, the U.S. is set for a political and cultural realignment that could have generational implications. Nearly every poll shows the Sun Belt swings. North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada out of reach for Democrats, making Biden's only path to the 270 electoral votes a very narrow, improbable sweep of the Rust Belt swing states, but he consistently trails in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The normally reliable blue states of Virginia, New Hampshire, and Minnesota are also in play. Now, he wrote this about Biden. We know Biden is out, but he meant it across the board. He meant it for Harris, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he changed the title of it. At the heart of the Democrats' problem, besides their candidate, and that would apply to Harris, of course, is a religious belief in demography is destiny theory. First undertaken in the second Obama administration in 2012, this theory holds that Democrats can cobble together a multicultural coalition of the working class and the young, as well as voters of color, through a constant appeal to identity politics and welfare state patronage. But it's more of a transactional appeal than an ideological one. The Biden presidency has put the theory to the test, and the results do not seem promising. Democrat elites, this is the great point here, something that you and I have talked about.
Mm-hmm.
He says it in a different way, but it's everything that we've talked about. Everything used to be abstract, now it's reality.
Yep.
Democratic elites smugly bragged about Biden's legislative achievements on COVID stimulus, infrastructure, and green energy, all of which involve massive deficit spending, welfare expansion, and industrial planning. But the voters could care less about legislative accomplishments. They see this record deficit spending creating 20% inflation, which robbed them of any real income gains during the Biden years. They see job growth made up primarily of government and healthcare jobs. They see EV mandates as sending the working class jobs to the Chinese and hurting the economy while accomplishing little on climate change. Democrats love to brag about helping the working class, but working class voters now favor Trump by a whopping 17 points, according to recent polls. In 2012, Obama won the Hispanic vote 71 to 21%. Left-leaning politicians and activists thought they could cement this advantage through identity appeals on lax immigration enforcement. Some progressive Democrats even suggested abolishing ICE, but younger Hispanics did not bite. Like mounting numbers of black voters, young Hispanics seem increasingly drawn to the economic populism message of Trump rather than the identity politics pandering. Trump is now tied with Biden for the Hispanic vote in the conducted Wall Street Journal averages of polls. Then goes on to just talk about everything else of the identity politics is not working for them.
Right.
And economically speaking, as we have said, all their economic narratives have hit the reality of economics, as we've always stated before.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's the real problem that they have. Now, putting another identity, which is a different person, to replace the person who had a bad identity, since superficial identity politics is what they've played on, they're all excited.
Yeah.
But independents aren't. That's the problem they have.
And that's that's her problem, is that I don't think she can bring in independents. I don't see her bringing in any independents. The only thing she's going to do, keep in mind where she's from California. She was picked by Biden. She wasn't elected. December 3rd of 2019, her campaign announced they were folding, they were shutting the doors. She had no more money. It was imploding for a reason, because the people of her party didn't want her then. I told you during the break, where's the rallying cry of people that have been saying, Joe needs to go, it needs to be Kamala, it needs to be Kamala, it needs to be. There wasn't that. Not even once.
I told you that I just took a look at all my, whether they're Democrat, family, friends, acquaintances, whatever, yesterday. Not one comment from any of them.
Right.
Either way, nothing.
You think Will.i.am is going to make a chant song about her instead of Obama, Kamala, Kamala? Remember the euphoria. The euphoria surrounding Barack Obama in 2008. Doesn't matter where you fall politically, you can't deny that euphoria on the left. She's got exactly zero euphoria behind her.
The euphoria went all the way down to their bowel movements.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Remember that?
That's and tingling in the legs for Chris Matthews.
What, Anthony, what's his name from?
Oh, yeah. Anthony Kiedis.
Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He made a pledge, the Obama pledge.
Yeah.
That then
he would only flush.
They were going to care about the environment now that Obama was in office.
Right.
They didn't care about the environment when Bush was in office.
Right. And the genius said he is, issue oriented.
Right.
He would only flush after a number 2, not a number 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
And then he kissed both of his own biceps. Remember that? Yeah.
The fact that you remember that, but that just popped into my head. I'll never forget that video where he kissed both of his biceps.
I've never kissed my own biceps. I'm just going to tell you that. I don't have biceps, but if I did, I wouldn't kiss them because it's weird. You hippie.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
For the approximately 20,000 or so dairy producers in the U.S.,
The overall story is one of relatively tighter supplies, strong product demand, and higher prices nearly across the board.
USDA Outlook Board Chairman Mark Jekanowski says the market's been so strong his group has had to go in and keep raising its forecasts for milk and dairy product prices. USDA forecasting the all-milk price for this year to average $22.25 per hundredweight, 65 cents higher than was forecast a month ago.
And then looking ahead into 2025, the all milk price is expected to remain strong, $22.50 per hundredweight, up 25 cents year over year. And we raised that price forecast by $1 per hundredweight this month.
All of this with a projected 1% increase in milk output next year. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. You know, for most elections, I'm not saying personality doesn't count because the Democrats have survived on imagery for the longest time. Imagery of doing something, and the problem is, as we've stated, with Democrats, the problem, especially with their economic message, is not the Republicans, but it's reality, and it's a reality of economics. As has been, as Julian Epstein even pointed out in his column, he's a long lived Democrat out there. But he said there are also signs of bigger cultural shifts underway. The day after the Trump assassination attempt, the bosses at MSNBC held its show Morning Joe from the air, apparently believing the hosts and guests would be more interested in activism than hard news. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a very nice way. He's a Democrat of putting it, but the insane things, I mean, you saw last week. We didn't even get to it last week. Yeah. MSNBC was off the rails. Yeah. I mean, with the accusations and things that they were making, and I think you've got management looking at it going, this is nuts. We've said this in the very beginning. The thing that was the beginning of the end for the Democrats was identity politics and the radical transgender movement. By bullying people and threatening people in not believing, but forcing them to say to say, yes, a man can be a woman because a man says so.
And then coming after your kids, and we have to include the latest move in California.
Same thing.
These are things where the American people, and I've said it all along, and that is, you're not going after Republicans. You're not going up against conservatives. You're going up against parents, and you won't win that.
And that's why we said it was so critically important in the radical transgender movement, because you and I were talking about it. We're two guys, and you and I were saying for the longest time, where are the women?
Yeah, right.
Where the women are the ones that have to, and then they started coming out. Oh, yeah. And the Riley Gaines. Yep. Earlier before that, Martina Navratilova. Mm-hmm. What's her name from the Harry Potter books? J.K. Rowling. Yeah. She came out loudly, against it. And now you have organizations, women organizations, and that's going to be defeated. And it's about fighting back. And if you stick to the issues, you can beat every single Democrat narrative that exists out there.
Moms for Liberty. Yeah. They're a great follow on social media. Yep.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio. from the Uniden America Studios.
And he's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Download our Red Eye Radio app today. You can listen when and where you choose. If you can't listen live overnight to one of our great radio stations. All right, here we go. Our audio cut of the day. Is the Trump campaign and the Trump PACs ready for the endorsement of Kamala Harris? Here is the first official ad.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising. Kamala was...
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, it went into a loop.
Yeah.
No loop on this. All right, you ready for this article here?
All right.
Was this a New York Times article? I'm not sure. It was definitely reprinted. Aaron Sorkin, how I would script this moment for Biden and the Democrats. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, you ready for this? Okay.
Okay.
The problem in the real world is that there isn't a Democrat who is polling significantly better than Mr. Biden. And quitting, as heroic as it may be in this case, heroic. Did you see that one article? Was it the political euthanasia is not to be celebrated?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Wow.
Not something to be proud of. The real problem in the real world is that there isn't a Democrat who is polling significantly better than Mr. Biden, and quitting, as heroic as it may be in this case, really doesn't put a lump in our throats. But there's something the Democrats can do, and that would not just put a lump in people's throats with its appeal to stop Donald Trump at all costs, unity, but with originality and a sense of sacrifice. So here's my pitch to the writer's room. Are you ready for this?
All right.
The Democrats should pick a Republican. At their convention next month, the Democrats should nominate Mitt Romney.
Yeah, that was going around. I love it. Now, you'll have to deprogram him so he will no longer say, I'm a Republican. Can he do that with if and this is a really silly conversation. If he went independent, here's the scenario. Joe Manchin becomes a Democrat again. This ad paid for by the Make Joe Manchin a Democrat again. And then he gets his buddy, Mitt Romney, who will have no problem being second fiddle. And then Mitt Romney becomes an independent.
Well, this is actually Aaron Sorkin, the
I know.
film director who
and that
wrote,
came out
wrote
before, but that came out before Sunday, right? Didn't it? Didn't Aaron Sorkin? Yeah, he floated that prior to Sunday.
It says July 21st here.
Yeah, maybe they reprinted it because I'm sure I saw it Friday or Saturday. I'll go back and look.
Nominating Mr. Romney would be putting our money where our mouth is, a clear and powerful demonstration that this election isn't about what our elections are usually about, but about stopping a deranged man from taking power. Surely Mr. Romney, who doesn't have to be introduced to voters, would peel off enough Republican votes to win, probably by a lot. The double haters would be turned into single haters, and the Nikki Haley voters would have somewhere to go. Ms. Haley having disqualified herself when she endorsed the leader of an unsuccessful attempt to overthrow the government.
Yeah.
Does Mr. Romney support abortion rights? No. Does he? By the way, that's the pick that he gets.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm just reading this because for entertainment purposes only. But you could stop it right there.
Right.
Does Mr. Romney support abortion rights? No. Does he aggressively want to raise the minimum wage, bolster public education, strengthen unions, expand transgender rights, and enact progressive tax reform? Probably not.
I don't know. If you reprogram him, he might want to do all those things.
But he dislikes Trump, so that's the reason. But I had to read that because it's like the number of articles we're going to see in the next couple of days are going to be humorous, and that was the lead humor article for me, at least.
Yeah, and when Sunday it came out that Manchin wanted to run or was thinking about running, and I thought, okay, now he can call his buddy Mitt Romney, and we can bring those two silly ideas together.
Yeah, that's the no labels. That was viewed as the no labels
Democrat.
Yeah.
Now, but if
The
they
no
had a
labels
label, see,
dream.
that's the thing, is they were like, no, we like labels. Mitt Romney turned it down because, no, I want a label. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And the thing that drove Democrats nuts was just the head. I'll have to just read the headline from Zuckerberg. I think it was from Friday or.
Yeah.
Trump's reaction to being shot was badass, Mark Zuckerberg.
There you go.
Oh, that drove Democrats nuts.
Yeah.
It drove them absolutely crazy.
It's the one time Zuckerberg's been right.
Man, did you see Basement Man? See Keith,
No.
Keith Olbermann?
No.
Oh, man, he's out there with that he wasn't really shot by a bullet, and he's just going. He is one angry man.
Yeah.
Is it? And I'm a Christian guy. Is it a sin to be happy over somebody's enraged anger over?
Are you asking if
stupid
Keith
things?
Olbermann cares about sins?
No, I mean, I'm talking about me.
For you to feel
getting
that.
so much enjoyment out of
then
his
that's important. Yes.
unhinged anger. Is that unchristian-like? Being happy about that?
I don't know. I think you're on one hand you're supposed to be happy, but yeah,
I'll have to go to the.
If only I was.
I'll have to go to the. I'll have to go to the confessional and sit on the kneeler like Jerry Seinfeld did that time. Remember that?
Exactly. I think you just say, "Listen, I'm not really here for a confession because that would take a while, but I do have a question." Just the one question. I get a lot of enjoyment.
Are you upset, Jerry, that he's telling? Are you upset as a Jew that he's telling Jewish jokes?
Oh,
no, I'm upset as a comedian.
Exactly.
Oh, that was. By the way, that I will have to say though that did get a laugh from me.
Oh,
but it's just how they presented it, and it was yesterday on CNN when they talked about Josh Shapiro.
Yeah,
it's like, well, Josh Shapiro might not be a good vice presidential candidate because he's a Jew.
Yeah, I mean he just put it out there.
What?
Like, well, here's a big negative. What? What? That's who they are, though. That's absolutely who they are. That is, it's just insane.
Really? No. It was so matter of fact. And we had played the audio cut earlier, but wasn't it just so matter of fact?
No, it really was. He just lobbed it out there, and it was like, whoa. Because we don't think that way, but they think that way, and they don't have a problem with it.
No, they don't.
Their anti-Semitism has been so far out there. He almost said it with a sense of pride, like, hey, listen, I'm going to throw, in his mind, I'll throw this in because nobody's thinking of this. But this is a problem.
Well,
wow.
I would have never thought about it unless he brought it up.
No, exactly.
Because my mind doesn't work that way.
Right.
I'm like, okay, where does he stand on the issues? Okay, all right, Shapiro here. I mean, especially with school choice. Shapiro understands you got to moderate. The Democrats have to moderate in some manner or form. The question would be, what would he actually really moderate
Right.
if he had a position of power on the federal level.
Right.
Because we know that politicians will take a certain opinion in order to win in their particular state. Would they do that on the federal level?
Right.
And so, I'd be thinking of the issues they'd be taking, but I just don't think in identity ways. I don't.
Right. No.
Most of us don't.
No.
We don't. Where do you
It's
stand
about
on the issues?
qualifications. Are you qualified? What do you want to promote? What do you want to implement as a policy?
Well, that's the one thing that the Republicans did accomplish. We didn't get a chance because of the computer Microsoft meltdown.
Yeah.
For the last 2/3 of the show on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But Republicans did what I wanted, what I thought they should do, what I wanted them to do, which was they talked about unity, but the unity wasn't based on identity. It was based on shared values on the issues.
Right. Yeah.
Which I said is what it should always be. If I'm talking politics, I identify as an American.
Right.
What makes me an American? Why am I an American?
Right.
Because I was born here. What really makes me American?
Right.
I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the founding document, the Declaration of Independence. When it comes down to it, that's what it is. And you understand, you understand the parts of it that make the United States special.
Yeah. Right.
And so once you do that, that's a great selling point. And if your selling point that that you can have a fair shot and you can make money and you can acquire wealth, and therefore if you acquire wealth, you get to decide what you do in your life, and nobody else can tell you what to do. And government spending may sound great, but as Julian Epstein wrote, the long-term Democrat, people now realize the incredible government spending in the welfare state create the inflation that they've all felt, and that's all worse than anything that the government could ever give them.
Yep.
That's a problem for Democrats.
Yep.
That's a real problem. So, Harris or not, this is still the Republicans and Trump's to lose, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right.
Projecting forward, because they still have all the issues, and she's a pretty weak candidate herself.
Yeah.
You've got to now flip, except for talking about that she was part of the cover-up of the lies for Joe Biden. You really, all the talk about Hunter, all that's gone. You've got to just throw that away. It's targeting right at her right now, because right now she may not end up being the nominee, but she is right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's at least what 2 or 3 people are telling us.
You mean the sources?
She's got the endorsement of what? Nearly a half a dozen people?
Yes.
This is exactly the chaos.
Not 14 million, but a half a dozen.
Exactly. This is the chaos that you have now. And I don't know what the party does. Because if you were going to broker a deal, if you're Biden, you're going to broker a deal, then you don't set it in play. You don't find out, hey, where's the rest of the party? Where's Barack? Where is everybody on this? Or maybe he just didn't care. He gave his endorsement, and then, boom, okay, I'll give it to Kamala. Probably because of what I told you over the weekend. I texted you yesterday, and I said, well, because it's hard for him to say, hey, I picked her as a Veep, but I didn't mean it.
Well, the other thing is he's infuriated.
Yeah.
He's livid that the Democrats, he feels he's been betrayed. Look, they covered him in a lie for 4 years.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, in one day, when he thinks he's rolling, okay, I had a bad day, whatever.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know how his mind thinks.
Right.
But I know that's what the NBC and the New York Times is saying, and then everybody who's covering it says he feels incredibly betrayed because why did they all of a sudden one day not back him anymore? He's confused by that. Well, they lied about you for 4 years, and finally it affected the polling. So sorry.
Yep.
You're done.
Okay. Aaron Sorkin wrote that piece in the New York Times before it came out. Then they updated it and said, update, Joe Biden announced on Sunday that he would not seek re-election. So I saw it Saturday night before I went to sleep. But, yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. You're not going to – sorry, it's not going to happen.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So here it is, National Review. Biden endorses Kamala to ride the bomb down instead of him. It said later in a weirdly separate endorsement of Kamala as the heir apparent, almost as if he'd made a last-second decision to switch places with her atop the Dr. Strangelove H-bomb.
Yeehaw!
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.